Hey there, high level listeners. Welcome back to another English vocabulary class. Have you ever hurt yourself at home or exercising? Maybe nothing too serious, like you bumped your knee or you stubbed your toe or you burned your finger cooking.
Yes, or maybe you twisted your ankle, or you cut yourself shaving, or you bruised your arm doing something daft. As you can tell, there is a lot of vocabulary about hurting yourself in English, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to High Level Listening. I am Kat, your American English teacher.
And I'm Mark, your British English teacher. And today, like always, we'll share two short stories, one American and one British, and they'll both be about those moments when you say, ouch, or, oh, I hurt myself. So these are not life-threatening injuries that send you to the hospital, but they're things that still hurt.
So, after we say our stories, we'll go over the key vocabulary and give you a few short dialogues that you can use in real life.
Yes, and don't forget, like always, you can get the PDF transcripts of this episode and all of our other episodes by becoming a High Level Listening member on YouTube, or you can go to our PayHip store and you can get season study packs, which have transcripts, picture dictionaries, ad-free MP3 versions, and lots more bonus materials. The links to do that are all below. So let's get into today's stories. Kat will go first. And today I'll ask her, Kat, have you gotten hurt lately?
Yeah, so I hurt myself last night making dinner. I wasn't paying attention and I nicked my finger with a knife. It wasn't deep, but it bled a lot. So I ran it under cold water and grabbed a Bandaid. Then, while I was fumbling around with the first aid kit, I bumped my shin really hard on the edge of the coffee table. I was like, seriously? I must have looked so clumsy, limping around the kitchen with one bandaged pinky in the air.
Oh my, what a nightmare. That sounds quite painful.
Don't laugh. It wasn't funny. Stop laughing. Have you done anything like that recently, Mark?
Oh yes, absolutely. The other day I slipped while getting out of the shower and twisted my ankle a bit. I didn't fall, thankfully, but I was sore for a day or two. I had to keep it propped up and put some ice on it. And then, just when that had healed, I stubbed my toe on the table leg. Honestly, I can't be trusted in my own house. So I could laugh at your story because I also hurt myself. That's
Fair. We all do
we're
it.
even.
We all do it.
Exactly. And these are not serious injuries. These are just little bumps and bruises around the house. Don't worry if you missed a couple of words. We will go through them one more time and we'll focus on vocabulary and expressions about getting hurt. So back to the start of your story, Kat. What was the first thing that happened to you?
Okay, don't laugh, but I hurt myself last night making dinner.
Oh.
So the first thing I say is don't laugh. Why? Because a lot of things that we do when we hurt ourselves are really not that serious. Okay, we hit something, we bump something, we accidentally do something. But I hurt myself last night making dinner. So when we talk about these little things that happen, we say, I hurt myself. It means that someone else didn't do it to me. I did it. So we usually say, I hurt myself. I hurt myself. Ouch. I hurt myself. So don't laugh, but I hurt myself last night making dinner. Now, the one little word that we're missing is while. I hurt myself while making dinner. It's not really necessary because we know that I hurt myself while something else was happening, right? I hurt myself last night making dinner. I hurt myself last night exercising. I hurt myself walking at the park. So anything that was happening and then boom, I hurt myself. Ouch.
Right. I'm glad you said don't laugh, because if you just said, I hurt myself last night making dinner, I would think, oh, wow, are you okay?
Yeah.
I know there's knives and kitchen stuff involved, but you said don't laugh. So
Don't
I
laugh.
know it's not. Yeah. So it's maybe a little bit embarrassing or silly and you're not really injured. So that
Don't
helps me
laugh, please.
feel
Okay,
better.
don't laugh at me, please. But I hurt myself last night making dinner.
Right. So I know it couldn't have been too bad.
Yeah. What about you, Mark? What happened to you?
Well, the other day I slipped while getting out of the shower and twisted my ankle a bit.
Ooh, ouch. Ooh, that sounds like it hurt.
Yeah. So the other day I slipped while getting out of the shower and twisted my ankle a bit. There are two main things. I slipped. If there's water on the ground and it's slippery, the action is slip. This is maybe losing your balance. It can be falling on the ground, but it can also be just losing your balance for a moment and your body moves in an awkward or painful way. So if it's icy outside, you might slip on the ice. If there's water on the floor of your bathroom, you can slip on that. You shouldn't run at the swimming pool because you might slip. And in the past, I slipped. So I slipped while getting out of the shower. My story says while getting out of the shower. I could say I slipped getting out of the shower. It's also correct. But so I finished my shower, stepped out. There was water on the floor and I slipped and I twisted my ankle.
Ouch.
So yeah, that's quite painful. So my ankle moved one direction and my leg moved the other direction. They both went opposite ways. I twisted. This can happen to you when you slip. It can happen when you're exercising, especially playing football or doing something with your feet. If you turn or slip suddenly, you might twist your ankle. This is not breaking any bones or doing any permanent damage, but it's just very painful to twist your joint. So I twisted my shoulder, I twisted my ankle, I twisted my knee.
Twisted my wrist. You're right.
Yeah, right. Any joints, you could twist them and, they really, really hurt.
I've also heard of the word sprained. So what's you kind of said three words there. You said twisted, then I've heard sprained, and I broke. What are the serious levels?
In levels of like severity, the most severe is break. If I break my ankle, the bones are broken and you need to go to a hospital. The level less than that is sprain. That can be painful and maybe the muscles or the tendons are hurt.
Yeah.
You might not need to go to a hospital, but you may need some ice or something to help it heal. And the least severe is twist. You can get over a twisted ankle in a couple of hours or even a couple of days. So you don't need a hospital or a doctor. So yeah, break, sprain, twist. Okay, so back to your incident at dinner. What did you do exactly?
Well, I wasn't paying attention and I nicked my finger with a knife. Yikes. Ouch. Ooh, I know. So I wasn't paying attention. Now, when you have sharp knives in the kitchen and you're cutting, you're chopping, you're dicing, you're slicing, you really need to pay attention that you protect your fingers because those really, really sharp knives. So I wasn't paying attention. Oh, yeah, blah, 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 or texting or calling a friend, and I wasn't paying attention and I nicked my finger. When we kind of use the word cut. I cut my finger. That would also work out. I nicked my finger is just a tiny cut. Just a little cut. Like, oh, did you cut yourself? Yeah, but I just nicked it. Meaning a really, really tiny cut. You could cut something really deeply. And that would maybe mean you need to go to the hospital.
Yes, I often hear this. I nicked myself. Like I hurt myself. I nicked myself shaving.
Oh, yeah.
When I use a razor to shave. I just
on your legs.
And it's only
on your face.
Yeah. It's like a tiny little dot of blood. Not much, but just nicked. Oof. Again, I don't need the hospital or a doctor. I just nicked myself.
So Mark twisted his ankle a bit. Were you okay, Mark? That sounds kind of painful. Maybe a little embarrassing, but mostly painful.
A little bit. I didn't fall, thankfully, but it was sore for a day or two. So I didn't fall, thankfully, but it was sore for a day or two. So yes, I twisted my ankle because I slipped. I didn't fall. Fall means my body hits the ground. And yeah, it's quite a common injury when people fall in their bathroom. But my ankle was sore for a day or two. Sore, in my British accent, is S-O-R-E. Sore. And sore is when it's painful and it feels like the muscles are hurt. Maybe after you do a lot of exercise, or if you go to the gym, the next day you feel sore every time you move that muscle. Or if you have leg day, every time you stand up, it's sore. So again, nothing's broken or wrong. I don't need a doctor or medicine. My muscles hurt. It's mostly the muscles and tendons and joints. They are sore. Okay, so you cut or you nicked your finger with a knife. I've done that before. How bad was it? Was it deep?
It wasn't deep, but it bled a lot. So I ran it under cold water and grabbed a Band-Aid. So usually when we talk about a cut could be deep, okay? It's funny, I don't say it was a shallow cut. I just say it wasn't deep. I guess because it's important. Is it deep or is it not deep? No, it wasn't deep. Okay, so you're okay. It wasn't deep, but it bled a lot. You know, sometimes those really tiny nicks or those really tiny cuts, when you finally clean it up, you think, wow, that bled a lot. Why? Why? It just was a teeny tiny little cut. It wasn't deep, but it bled a lot. So I'm bleeding right now. There is blood. I'm bleeding. Are you bleeding? Oh my gosh, I'm bleeding. But in the past, we say it bled. It bled a lot. So I can't stop the bleeding. Put on a bandage to stop the bleeding. Yeah, it bled a lot. So I ran it under cold water. That means you turn on the water and the water is running. So I'm running the water. I turned it on, it's running. But then you say I ran it, my finger, under cold water. So it's a kind of just a weird phrase and it doesn't kind of make sense logically, but I ran my finger under cold water. All the water is running on top of it, right? I'm trying to clean it. I ran it under cold water and grabbed a Band-Aid. Now, Mark might use a different word than I do. Americans often use the brand name Band-Aid, but what we mean, Mark might use the word plaster, right? You use that word, Mark?
Yeah, a plaster.
So what we mean in American English, British English would say plaster. I'd say a Band-Aid or a bandage, a small bandage that we can use to hold it in place and stop the bleeding. So I grabbed a Band-Aid, usually it's a little one. It's sticky. It goes over, mostly fingers have Band-Aids. And I grabbed a Band-Aid.
And I would say I grabbed a plaster.
Perfect. So that's what I did to stop the bleeding. Mark, what did you do for your twisted ankle?
I had to keep it propped up and put some ice on it. So I had to keep it propped up and put some ice on it. So if you hurt yourself, one of the recommendations from the internet and professionals too is to prop it up. If you are a nurse or a doctor, you might hear keep it elevated. It's elevated, then it is higher or above where it normally is. So normally my legs are pointed down. If I keep it propped up, I'm going to put my foot on a cushion, on a sofa, or put it upright. And I think the idea is that the blood stops running into it so quickly, and that lets it heal faster. So if you have a leg injury...
I think it's for swelling, actually. It's so that it doesn't swell. So if you have like a swollen ankle, if you keep it propped up, the blood will stop swelling.
Ah, right. So it reduces swelling. Swelling, when it gets bigger, it's full of liquid.
Yes.
So if you have a leg or foot injury, they'll often say to keep it propped up. Another thing you can do, another thing I did, I put some ice on it. So ice is uncountable. I put some ice. I put a bit of ice from the freezer, from the kitchen, and put it on my ankle. Again, that helps with the pain and it helps with the swelling. So just little things you can do at home. I didn't need to go to a hospital or go to my GP. I could do it at home. I could keep it propped up and just put some ice on it. Okay, well, back to your cut. Oh, I'm glad you were able to find a Band-Aid and get it patched up.
Yeah, well, okay, so then after I did all that, then while I was fumbling around with the first aid kit, I bumped my shin really hard on the edge of the coffee table. I can still feel it. I can still feel it. So then while I was fumbling around with the first aid kit, now I can imagine if you're home by yourself or if you've got a cut, you are looking for the first aid kit. So the first aid kit. First aid is basically bandages, antiseptic, that's the word, antiseptic, something to clean, a little cut, little scrapes, little problems, right? So this is usually inside of a first aid kit. While I was fumbling around with the first aid kit, meaning, okay, where is it? Wait, I have only one finger, right? So it's like when I'm trying to open it and I'm fumbling around with it. I bumped my shin really hard. So I bumped my shin. Okay, so if this is your leg, pretend this is your foot and this is your leg. Here's your knee, here's your ankle. The front is your shin. And I don't know why it hurts so bad when you bump your shin on something. It's kind of like when you hit your funny bone here. Oh, it just is so painful. So the front of the bottom of your leg, that's your shin. So I bumped my shin really hard on the edge of the coffee table. So if you kind of look at my phone here, this is the edge of my phone. This is the corner. So sometimes you have a really pointed corner, or I bumped it on the edge, you know, that kind of really hard part right here. So, oh, I can still feel it. I think it's going to bruise for sure. I bumped my shin really hard on the edge of the coffee table.
Yes, right. That's a good verb to bump, because when you hit, I bumped my head on a cabinet. I bumped my shoulder on the door frame. I bumped my shin. I get that doesn't sound like you were bleeding. That sounds like it's
No.
going to cause a bruise.
Yeah. Another good word is I smacked my shin.
Ah.
That one's very informal. Like I smacked it. I really just hit it really quickly.
That sounds quite
smacked
hard.
my head on the cabinet. I smacked so bumped or smacked, both very good verbs. All right. So it sounds like, you know, your twisted ankle wasn't too bad then in the end.
Well, then, just when that had healed, I stubbed my toe on the table leg.
Oh, oh no.
Yeah. So I got a second injury too. So my twisted ankle, just when that had healed. So I mean, immediately after my twisted ankle had healed, I stubbed my toe on the table leg. This is a specific injury I stubbed. We only use it for your fingers and your toes. If you stub your finger or stub your toe, it's when the ends or the tips of your toes and your fingers hit something hard. Maybe something comes down on them vertically, and it's a very particular kind of pain. I've even had it
so
from
bad.
like a volleyball or basketball. A basketball stubbed the top of my fingers, and that hurt a weird amount. And it's the same if you accidentally kick a piece of furniture like I did. I stubbed my toe. So the table leg hit directly on the tip of my toe. And I don't know why that's so painful, but it's so painful in English, we have our own verb. I stubbed my toe. Again, only fingers and toes. I can't stub anywhere else on my body. I stubbed my toe on the table leg. So I accidentally bumped it or I kicked it and oh, that really hurt. You can even break your toe if you stub it hard enough. That has happened before. So stubbing is that painful hit on your fingers and toes. All right, last part of your story, Kat. It sounds like you had a rough night.
I was like, seriously? I must have looked so clumsy, limping around the kitchen with one bandaged pinky in the air. So remember, I nicked my finger. That's kind of serious, right? Alone. But hitting yourself on the furniture, that's when it gets a little silly, right? So I was like, seriously? This is a very informal phrase. I was like, you were like, they were like, meaning I said this or I felt this way. I was like, seriously? So I said to myself, seriously? Really? Why is this happening to me?
Again.
Again? I know. It's like, anything else? Anything else? Does my house want to hurt me a little bit more? I must have looked so clumsy. Clumsy is when you try to do something normal and you hurt yourself, or you fall easily, or you just, for some reason, cannot walk. Sorry. Oh my gosh. I am so clumsy. I'm so clumsy. Meaning that you fall easily, or if you drop things, you fall. Oh, I
That's
must
it.
have looked so clumsy limping around the kitchen. If you have a limp, or if you are limping, you hurt one of your legs. Okay, so you're not walking normally. You're kind of dragging one of your legs. Maybe you hurt your foot, you hurt your leg, and you're limping. So it's walking around with a hurt leg. So I must have looked so clumsy limping around the kitchen with one bandaged pinky in the air. Remember, I nicked my finger and I didn't really say which finger. Could be my thumb, finger, pinky. So, I had one bandaged pinky and I'm limping because I hit my shin on the edge of the table. So I must have looked so clumsy limping around the kitchen with one bandaged pinky in the air.
Good. I'm glad the neighbors didn't see.
I know. I was home by myself, so I'm kind of glad. Everybody would have laughed at me. Well, I know I must have looked a little clumsy, but it sounds like you might be a little clumsy too, Mark.
Oh, yes. Honestly, I can't be trusted in my own house.
Me neither.
So,
Me neither.
yes, I slipped and twisted my ankle. Then I stubbed my toe. I can't be trusted in my own house.
Very silly. Very
I
nice
can't-
way to end that.
That's right. If I am clumsy, then I can't be trusted with something. So if I'm very clumsy, then I can't be trusted with a knife because I might nick myself. Or I can't be trusted with hot water or cooking because I might spill it and burn myself or start a fire in the kitchen. So if you are quite clumsy, you can say jokingly, I can't be trusted. Oh, don't give it to me. I can't be trusted with this. So honestly, I can't be trusted in my own house with anything.
All right. So now that we've finished up all of the story and all the vocabulary, let's hear it once more so we can hear it all together. Okay. Don't laugh, but I hurt myself last night making dinner. I wasn't paying attention and I nicked my finger with a knife. It wasn't deep, but it bled a lot. So I ran it under cold water and grabbed a Bandaid. And then, while I was fumbling around with a first aid kit, I bumped my shin really hard on the edge of the coffee table. I was like, seriously? I must have looked so clumsy limping around the kitchen with one bandaged pinky in the air.
It's an excellent image.
I said, don't laugh. But Mark, the first thing I said was,
You're
don't
fine.
laugh.
I know you're okay, though. And yes, I'm no better. The other day, I slipped while getting out of the shower and twisted my ankle a bit. I didn't fall, luckily, but it was sore for a day or two. I had to keep it propped up and put some ice on it. Then, just when that had healed, I stubbed my toe on the table leg. Honestly, I can't be trusted in my own house.
No, neither of us can be trusted in our own homes. All right, we've got some back and forth dialogues. This might be a dialogue you might hear at home, so you could use it with family or friends. Oh my gosh, Mark, you're limping a bit. What happened?
Oh, I'm fine. I just stubbed my toe on the desk.
No, do you want me to put some ice on it?
No, it's just a bit sore, but I'll be okay.
Okay, well, let me know if you need anything. All right, our next dialogue might be something that you might hear at work. So it's going to be a little bit more formal. Also, sometimes if somebody hurts themselves, we don't ask too many questions and we don't offer too much to try to help them, but we might offer a first aid kit.
So, what happened to your hand?
Oh, I cut myself cooking last night. It's just a small nick.
Ouch. Well, if you need an extra plaster, there's a first aid kit next to my desk.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. It's almost healed now. I'm just being extra careful today. All right, and there you go. Some natural English phrases to talk about. Ouch, hurting yourself or getting hurt.
Yes, right. So let us know down below if you ever hurt yourself recently. Try and use some of the vocabulary and phrases that we've shown you in this episode, like I twisted my ankle or stubbed my toe or bumped my head. We do read and reply to everyone we get on YouTube, so it's a great chance to practice.
And don't forget, you can study all this vocabulary with our study guides or join us as a vocabulary builder here on YouTube for weekly lessons and exclusive videos.
Yes, thank you very much for listening, everyone. We'll see you again for another video here on High Level Listening very, very soon. Bye-bye.